Yeah, hi there. These comments, I'm going to use your initials, AA. I just read your paper, so I got good and bad news. The good news is you have a good, strong organization. You have a thesis, you have your topic sentences in there. And for the most part, you're using, I think, appropriate details to help support your generalizations. The bad news is you don't have good control over your language, your vocabulary, and your grammar. This is going to cause you a lot of trouble because sometimes I can't really get the meaning. So let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about. So if we go to the first paragraph to the third line there, you say, I live in a neighborhood. In recent years, the number of residents is grow significantly. I wouldn't even say it that way. I would say, I have lived in my neighborhood for almost 20 years, and in recent years, the number of residents has grown significantly. So I would use the present perfect tense in both of those cases. So that's a verb form problem you're having right there. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph. I'm just going to point out one example in each paragraph. In the sentence in the second line, you say, for example, you might say, my friend lives in a neighborhood which, you want to change have to has, which has a movie theater and this is what you want to correct. You say, when asked him about whether the effect he continued. This is all messed up grammatically. You want to say something like this. And when I asked him about whether or not the new movie theater would affect his commute, he told me that it could reduce his commute time from 10 minutes to more than a half an hour because of all the traffic created by the new theater. You see what I mean? So I have to kind of rewrite that entire sentence. I have to kind of put a whole bunch of words in there to express what you want to say up here. I know what you want to say. You know what you want to say, but you didn't get it down, I think. You didn't get your point expressed effectively in that second paragraph. All right, let's go to paragraph 3 now and take a look at this one. Okay, in the final paragraph, you have, for instance, sit in a front of a cinema gate or in the corners of the neighborhood. Who will be sitting there? You want to say the strangers, right? You'll say, for instance, these strangers may sit in the front of the cinema or in the corners of the neighborhood, which maybe are often opportunities to promote drugs and contraband. That's how I would rewrite that. All right, let's go to paragraph 4. Let's take a look at one of this one. We have some problems, I think, in that second sentence where you say, in addition. You say, it will be some inappropriate behavior may happen. You have will be, which is a verb. You have may happen, which is a verb. You have two different verbs in the independent clause part of the sentence. That's not good control of your sentence formation. What if you said this, though? If you said, some inappropriate behavior may happen from some drivers, such as, then you can say, using the car horns without the need, or instead of access, traveling into neighborhoods with a high speed to avoid congestion. That's how I'd rewrite that. And then in the next sentence, instead of as well as, I would put in addition. So let's go to your 5th paragraph. I'll just make a quick change there and point out a problem here. You say in the final sentence, I suggest of the construction of such these projects in outside of the neighborhoods in other places may not affect her presence. There's no meaning in that. I'll be honest with you. This is what I call a garbled sentence. It's really difficult to get your meaning here. This is why your score, I'm going to be honest with you, your score is going to go down because if you have minor grammar issues and vocabulary issues, if they don't affect the meaning of your ideas, it's still pretty good. But I have to work. I have to really work hard to try to understand what you're saying. So you might take the sentence and say, I suggest that developers construct these kinds of projects outside of the neighborhoods in other places that will not be so troublesome for the residents. You could say something like that, right? That's how I would suggest rewriting that final sentence. All right, so your score here, I'm going to put you right now at about 2.75 out of 5, 18 points out of 30. That's going to put you at about 73% on this particular writing assignment. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you have some organizational problems and some development type problems, you can solve those fairly quickly. But your problems are more vocabulary and more grammar, and you can't solve those things quickly. But you can solve them, and here's how. I would recommend that you really spend a lot of time in the vocabulary section of my course, a lot. So you want to do that. Focus on vocabulary lesson 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. As you go through that, you will improve your reading a lot also, even your listening and your grammar. But you want to focus on learning those words. That's going to be much easier. It'll make you easier for you to communicate. Now, the second thing I'd recommend is my grammar lesson number 7. That's going to take you to the website. It's called A Writer's Reference by Dana Hacker. Once you get there, focus on the grammar and the writing exercises at that website. I think that's going to be very important for you. The other thing is you probably need to do a little bit more reading, read magazines and newspapers and books. That's going to give you a little bit better control of your language also, and then spend time in English watching these kinds of programs. It might be boring to you, but it's going to help your English a lot. Science programs, documentary programs, news programs, maybe history programs. So that would be my advice. Now, between now and the final exam, I think it would be a good idea for you to try to take maybe 1 or 2 writing practice tests every day between now and the final exam. Right? So if you don't have time to do that and you're too busy, I would strongly consider repeating level 6 next quarter also, and that's going to give you more time to solve these language problems that you have, and you'll be even better prepared when you start your graduate studies. So those are my recommendations, all right? Anyway, thank you very much for completing the midterm exam, and keep up the good work.